back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about where I purchase my books. I got a question a couple weeks ago and someone asked, they were like, books can be so expensive. Where do you buy a lot of your books? And I thought about that because books are very expensive, okay? And I am severely cheap. And I have to just really like the book in order for me to pay full price. And a lot of times, because I am severely cheap, which I have no shame in my game, I will wait until the book is on paperback to actually get the book. And usually you have to wait like a whole year. And even now, paperbacks are getting so expensive too, but you still save a little coin as opposed to a hardback. And I always say, I like the look of a hardback, but I like the feel of a paperback. A lot of my books in this room, a lot of them are paperback because clearly the price and then the feel. Because I am an avid reader, I've learned what I like and what I don't like. For example, cannot stand mass market paperbacks. I don't like the way they feel in my hand. I don't like the font. Mainly, I don't like the way they feel in my hand. So mass market paperbacks, no ma'am for me. I can count on my hands how many mass market paperbacks I have in my collection. But I did want to share some of my tips, some of the stores that I do shop for when I am buying my books. So first, clearly I'm always going to say Barnes & Noble. I do shop at Barnes & Noble a lot. Now they have a rewards program where it's free. So every 10 stamps you get $5 off. And when I tell you that $5 comes in handy, it honestly does. Especially if you're a person that buys paperback, because paperback can range from $15 to $20. So you take 5 off of it, you're saving a little coin. Also too, sometimes they'll have things like, buy one, get one 50% off. And again, if I really do like the book, I will shell out the $25, $30 for the book, but it's rare, okay? Next is another go-to where probably everybody, buys their books is from Amazon, because Amazon is also cheaper. A lot of times what I will do is if I go up to Barnes & Noble and I see the book that I want, I will check on Amazon to compare the prices. And usually it's about usually it might take off a couple of dollars, maybe like $2, $3 or whatever, and then I'll say, okay, do I really want it, or can I just wait the 2-day shipping and get it? A lot of times too, what I will do, guys, is instead of paying the full price, sometimes they have options for used books. So I will go to the part where it says buying options or something like that, and if it's a used copy, I will get that. And I can count on my hands how many times I've had like a couple of doozies. I honestly can. But again, like I said, I'm severely cheap, so wherever that price can be cut down, I will get it. Next would be ThriftBooks.com. Now, ThriftBooks.com, that's key, because just like in the name, thrift, it actually is thrift. Their books are beyond affordable. You're talking about $5 to $15, if that. I think the most I paid for a book from ThriftBooks probably was about $7. And also why I like ThriftBooks.com is they have backlist books. You guys know I read a lot of Black authors that, a lot of times their books don't get reissues, or you can't find them at a Barnes & Noble. And even if you can find it on Amazon, I can get it severely cheaper if I go to ThriftBooks.com. So that has been my go-to. Now, I can honestly say I have been shopping there for since like 2018, I would believe. And the recent purchase I made, which was back in November, was it? I was doing my read a book in one day of reading Praise Song for the Butterfly. And if you guys saw that vlog, you saw that I was upset because I had ordered another copy of that book because I wanted to highlight and tab that book. But they sent me an ARC. And I clicked on, the one I wanted. I clicked on the cheapest one. And it was like Praise Song for the Butterfly by Bernice McFadden. So when I get the book, it's an ARC, meaning it's an advanced copy that didn't come out. And I'm like, I can't do anything with that. So I threw it away. That was the first time that ever happened to me. And like I said, I have been shopping on that online site since 2018. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that. But I would say overall, it is a good website if you are looking for cheap books, and if you're also looking for backlist books. Another place where I go to get my books is a store called Second and Charles. And I am obsessed with Second and Charles, and I'll put some clips up of how the store is displayed. But this store has everything, you guys. It has records, it has books, it has used and new books. They have what else? Like old video games, DVDs, CDs, look, VHSs. They have everything there. And prices are amazing, okay? I just recently went there and got some books, which I'll show you guys a little bit later. So love Second and Charles. If you guys do have a Second and Charles in your area, I would highly suggest you guys go there. You also can buy back books. Now I'm be honest with you, those prices. I remember I brought about 2 bags of books in, and they gave me $14 for it. So I was like, oh yeah, no. And what I did is they were like, I remember they said, do you want a store credit or do you want $14? I said, just do the store credit because I can't do nothing $14. So I just had to store credit, and then I added, my money to it. But if you do buy back your books, just know you're not gonna get no money for them, okay? Next store where I go to a lot is Walmart. And I've said time and time again, Walmart has a good selection when it comes to Black authors, and when it comes to urban fiction authors. Y'all, that is where I got my Wahida Clark Thug series. That is like my favorite urban fiction series of like all times. I got it from Walmart. Walmart's always like the cheaper alternative, so you're gonna pay a good price for it. And I'm just still in shock where if I go to Walmart, their selection of Black literature is just, it's crazy. And now they're getting into like literary fiction and a little bit of their what else, of their YAs. For example, these were my 2 recent buys. I bought these back in February, and I can't find these in Barnes & Nobles, in my Barnes & Nobles, but I was able to find these in Walmart, and I paid, what did I pay for this? I didn't pay $14 for this. I paid $10 for this, and these are both $15. So yeah, Walmart is where to go. Next store where I shop at, of course, is Target. I mean, everyone, it's like Target is like a girl's best friend, okay? Also, their books is always like, what, 20% off or whatever, so you are saving, again, some money. Just like Walmart, Target, they do have a good selection and a growing selection of Black literature, which I'm always happy about that, because I say so many times where, they be shading us when it comes to Black authors, where they don't want to display our works, and it's just like, come on now. And of course, if it is like an older book, you notice they don't do a lot of additions, re-editions of like some older books by Black authors. It has to be like a author that was like really well known, or the book is very popular. Like there's so many, editions of The Color Purple, of who else, Toni Morrison, but there's not like a lot of editions of like a Gloria Naylor who wrote Women of Brewster's Place. So they have that one particular author where they just go to, and then they shell out so many editions, and it's like, we have so many authors, so many Black authors, male and female, that y'all keep on doing the same additions to the same books. Next store where I get a lot of books from is local used bookstores. And I love used bookstores because, again, I'm cheap, okay? And then with used bookstores, you can get some of them backlist books that are not, in a Barnes & Noble or a Books A Million, And I have found some good ones in my area. And particularly, I always go to one I tell you guys about. It's, if you guys are ever in Michigan, ever in Flint, Michigan, please go to a bookstore called Totem Books. And it's a vinyl shop, it's a cafe, and it's a bookstore. I get a lot of my vinyls from there because they got that old school music. Y'all know I like old school music, okay? I just recently went there and I got some Roberta Flack. Old school, yes, you can see some Roberta Flack. I got some Diana Ross and the Supremes, just everything, okay? So I think some Freddie Jackson, some Luther. Like, they have good records, and the prices are so, so good. Like, I pay $4 for a record, but their books, love it. I love their Black book section because, again, books that are not just, splash, really well known. And then again, I like the fact that it's a local bookstore, so you are helping out the community. If you guys know anything about Flint, Michigan, you know that we did suffer from the writer crisis. I was born in Flint, Michigan, and partially raised in Flint, Michigan. My grandmother lived in Flint, Michigan for like over 30 years, and so every weekend summers, I was always in Flint, Michigan. Then my aunts taught in the Flint public school system for over 40 years. But hit up your local bookstores because it does help them. And then it helps you because guess what? You get new books. And then lastly, where I get a lot of my books is from library sales. If you guys ever come across a library sale, please go to them because the books be very cheap. You're supporting your library. Also, your tax dollars are paying for it. Them taxes that you pay every year. I don't own a library card, and the reason why is I don't like to borrow books because I like to read them, highlight them, and then I don't want to give it back. So that's why I just buy, books. But I know there's some people where they can't, afford to buy books that are, $20, $30 a pop. Or my thing is, even if you can't afford it, you don't want to spend $30 on a book. I've been there so many times. I'm not spending $30 on a book. Now I can spend $30 on a shirt, a blouse, but I'm not spending $30 on a book. So that's why the library is key. But I would say, again, if you guys come across a library sale, please go to them. I have found so many gems from a library sale. I notice I always get a lot of children's books from library sales, and y'all know everything black here, and I have so many black children's books. I have found even some black children's books from like the 60s and 70s that I have. Not only just getting children's books, I've gotten so many books from my collection from library sales where I could not get anywhere else, or I couldn't find the edition that I wanted, and then the price was super cheap. You talking $1 a book or 50 cents a book. Those are all the stores that I do shop, and then the 2 online stores, ThriftBooks.com and Amazon. Because like I said in the beginning, I am severely cheap. Another way where I do get some of my books is I always ask on like my stocking list for my sister to get books, and then a lot of times when I'm with her, sometimes I may be like, can you buy me this book? And she's like, girl, are you serious? But she always buys it for me. That's what big sisters are for. I did want to show some of the books that I did buy. I told you guys saw in the clip where I was at 2nd and Charles. I did get some books from there, and I did go to what else? Barnes and Noble. I didn't show, I didn't have any clips in there because I was with my aunt and she was rushing me. So I'm like, I can't do that. I knew the 2 books that I wanted, and so I just went and got them. But yeah. So the 3 books I got from 2nd and Charles is, okay, wait, here's the 2 and here's the one I also got. Okay. So first I got The Street by Ann Petrie. Now I have a edition of this. I have this edition, and I read this book, 2 years ago, and loved it. I have a reading blog on this. This is by Ann Petrie. She was the first Black woman to sell over 1 million copies. This book was published in the 40s, and I love this cover. And look, fun fact, I got this book from a library sale, and I paid 50 cents for it. Yes, ma'am. You can see I tabbed this one, but I really wanted this edition. And this edition came out, let's see, in 2020, and it has a introduction by Tari Jones. She wrote American Marriage. When I saw this for only $3.75, I had to get it because I also have this edition. These are new editions that came out in 2020. This is The Narrows, and this book I paid $18 for. So, and that's the same price, but again, I went to 2nd and Charles and paid $3.75. I love these editions. They also have another book by her, I think it's called The Country, that I need to get that is like these editions. So I got that. And then I was so excited about this, you guys. I got Quiet Storm by Donna Hill. I don't even know what this is about. I just got it because it's Donna Hill. You guys know I talk about Donna Hill so much. I was introduced to her, 2 or 3 years ago? And ever since, I've had a Donna Hill book on my TBR. And I've also read additional books from her because I just love her writing. If you like a Brittany Sale McFadden, if you like Tara McMillan, who else? Or Pearl Cleage, you will like her writing. And she can tell a story. All her stories are different. And then lastly, I got this book, This Close to Okay by Lisa Cross Smith. This cover, I remember seeing this cover, but for some reason I thought this was a white author, but it's not. Strangers come into each other's lives. The woman is looks like the young man, he's having a hard time with like depression and things like that. And the young lady, she is a therapist, and she like brings does she bring she helps him but doesn't tell him that she is a therapist. And I think they might spark up like a little interest or something like that. So yeah, so that is the books that I got from Second and Charles. And then I want to show you the two books that I did get from Barnes and Noble. Of course, these are romance novels because y'all know I'm still on this kick. Again, I'll get on kicks this year. I've been on so many kicks, you guys. Remember at one point in January it was Truman Capote, then it was classic literature, like 1900s. Now it's romance books. So I'm curious to see what my next kick will be. But I got two romance books, and I believe that both of these come out this year. I know this one did. This one came out in April, I believe, by Maya Ariel. It's When I Think of You. Then this one is Business Not As Usual by Sharon C. Cooper. In the romance books, I am learning which type of tropes I do like when it comes to romance books. I realize I do not like slow burns. You gotta hit me hard, okay? I need you to hurry up and, tell the story. Y'all need to hurry up and get together because I can't take that. Cannot take that at all. So yeah, guys, that is it for this video. Again, I just want to share where I do buy my books because I do know that books are so expensive. I mean, crazy expensive. And if you are a person that does like to read books and collect books, you know the expense of it. That's all I have for you guys, and I'll be back with more Black books. Bye.